Namaste everyone. Today's yoga session is a little bit different. So I've just been thinking this week about lots of the sort of videos and Zoom calls that I'm seeing from yoga teachers online. They're always in lovely, bright, airy spaces with no furniture and nice plants and things like that. The reality of yoga home practice for lots of people is that they're squeezed between lots of furniture, bits and bobs, and all the sort of accoutrements of our daily lives. And it's entirely possible to practice your yoga in spaces like this. So this is our bedroom, and I've tidied it a little bit, but generally there's not a lot of space in this room. You know, we've got a big bed, and we've got chest of drawers in front of me here, and we've got wardrobes here, and there's a bit of space here for a mat. If, you know, I've got a friend who's a yoga teacher in Bristol, and she fits her mat between her dining table and her kitchen space in her one-bedroom flat, and that's her practice space, and she's a teacher. So it's perfectly feasible to have a home practice that works in whatever space you've got, that adapts to whatever space you've got, that uses maybe some of these bits of furniture in your practice. And I've deliberately not dressed today in my sort of usual sports gear, so I'm just wearing what I'm wearing today. So yes, I have got slightly baggy trousers on to help me move around, but it's not sports gear. So today is a bit of a different practice in that, apart from the space, the setting and the clothing, I am literally just going to do a 10-minute practice. So this is a 10-minute practice that you can fit into your day every day for the next 7 days. So the challenge of home practice is that when do you do it? Where do you do it? Don't beat yourself up about it. If you've got the motivation to practice for 5 minutes, fantastic. It doesn't matter whether it's morning or evening. Morning yoga is quite different to evening yoga. Mix it up, try it. If you're usually at an evening class with me, maybe practice first thing in the morning and feel the difference of the practice. Maybe the morning is better for you because you don't have kids getting up early at the moment. So find the space that works for you. And so this is sort of a bit of a challenge. This is like the daily challenge, yoga everyday challenge. So for the next 7 days, try this practice. Feel free to mix it up. You don't have to do the same practice every day. But the benefit of doing the same practice every day is you start to notice the changes of the poses between morning and evening, different spaces, different energies, how you're feeling, and maybe those poses develop over the space of 7 days. So just sort of my encouragement to you for yoga every day, for a home practice that you can maybe stick to, that's perfectly feasible. There's no way you're going to replicate a 90-minute class in a large space with lots of other people giving you cues at home. It's just not going to be like that. So your home practice is something that's for you, it's personal, and it just keeps you moving. So looking today, because obviously we've been doing maybe a bit more sitting than we normally would, and it's been a real sort of change of lifestyle. So I think just trying this practice, see how you get on. So to start with, we're just going to come into child pose. So I'm kneeling down. If you need to prop yourself up, then do. Make sure that you're propped up nicely. And I'm just going to turn that off. There we go. Make sure you're propped up nicely in your child pose. And sitting up nice and tall, stretching up. Bring your fingers into that hip crease, just at the top of the thighs. Open up the chest and drop the shoulders. Tuck the chin in. Breathe here. Nothing forced, just settling into position, just popping the heart center open, stretching through the top of the head. Tuck in the bandhas, tuck in and firm up the tummy here, and breathe out, fold. Just feeling how the hips move backwards and away, and lower yourself down. Up to you where you put your hands, floor behind, floor side, floor in front. You decide. Stay in your child pose for a few breaths here. Then when you're ready, bring yourself up to seated. We're going to bring ourselves up to standing now. So carefully, if you need to sort of steady yourself, fingers to the floor, one leg up, and press yourself up into a standing position. It's a bit difficult to get the angle right in this pose in this room, but you'll get the sense of the space. Taking a deep breath in, stretch the arms wide, lift them all the way up to the ceiling. Stretch up and lengthen, star the hands, drop the shoulders, and breathe in and breathe out. Just going into a slight back bend here. Keep the arms low if the lower back's a bit twitchy. And breathe out, bring the hands back down. Hands back to the hip creases here, and I'm going to turn sideways for this one so you can see the effect. So fingers into the hip crease again. Pop the heart center through to the front. Deep breath in, tuck the chin in. Breathe out. Lift the tail backwards. Feel the hips moving backwards as you lengthen out. Bring the weight forward over the toes as we tend to rock back in this one, and stretch away. Keep those knees soft by all means. Keep moving forward, and then change the hand position onto the shins. Ardha Uttanasana. Roll the shoulders back and activate the back, look up. Stretching away here. So you can see the back starts to curve a little bit. You're waking up the muscles. Breathing here. And up to you. You can soften it now. Keep the knees bent if you need to. Fold the arms. It's early in the practice, particularly in the morning. You may not feel that limber. So just carefully moving. Folding the arms, hanging out of the back, just giving space. Maybe just sort of drawing circles or doing a bit of snaky back. Just starting to bamboo spine a little bit, moving around. And then when you're ready, soften the knees off, push the floor away, bring yourself back up, all the way back up. Stretch up, arms to the ceiling, lengthen the front of the body, slight back bend here if that's comfortable for you. And breathe out. One more time on that one, we're just going to add a different element here. Deep breath in. And breathe out, fold. As you fold, tuck those fingers into the hip creases, lift the tail, stretch away, lengthen. Move the weight into the toes as well as the heels, and fold. If you're keeping your back parallel to the floor or your heart parallel to your head, keep stretching away here. Lovely. Take a deep breath in. We're going to push the floor away and bend the left foot. Going to see if we can just catch the knee, the ankle or the toe. Your call. I'm just going to catch the knee today. Push through and lift up. Just starting to wake up the proprioception in the feet. Star the feet, fan the toes, grip the floor with the base foot and open up. Lift up. If you want to go further and hug the knee in a little bit more, just to open up the lower back, then you can. Breathing here, breathing here. Again, it doesn't have to be elaborate, it just needs to be quite straightforward yoga in a confined space. Not turning the knee out, not turning the hip out. So far so good if you're carrying a knee injury at the moment. Settling self down. Deep breath in, sweep up, star the hands, lengthen the front of the body open, soften the knees off. Fingers into hip crease, lift the tail, pop the heart through, stretch forward, even up the weight between toes and heels, folding over, lovely. Breathe in, extend, stay parallel with the floor if this is you. Soft knees is all good. Drop the weight into the right foot, catching the knee or the ankle or the toe. Up to you. If you want to take the full Ardha Hasta Padangusthasana, then that's fine. Bring yourself up, flex the feet, star the toes, push and grip with the base foot into the floor. And if you're changing position, pop the heart open and just bring that knee into the chest. Keep the feet active as this keeps the lower leg really working. Lovely, slightly prehensile. And again, switching on those balance receptors in the feet. So important. For stability later on. Releasing that off. Lovely. Excellent. So then, I'm just going to drop down a little bit so I can see you. So we've just opened up the lower back here. Going to take some just strides now. So knee issues, just be very careful with this. You do not want to hyperextend or strain any knee issues. So you're just going to be careful here. And this is the back knee as well as the front knee. So don't ignore both knees and worry only about the one that's injured. So from the back of the mat, we're going to pick the leg up and just stride and walk forwards. Push the back heel into the floor, and really to help strengthen the knee, really push down through all four corners and settle. So the front knee is bending, so I'm sort of in a slight walking stance here. There's a tendency to flare the back, so you're going to end up with more of a lordosis in the lower back. If you want to increase that, great. Just clasp behind, lengthen the front of the body and look up. So my hands are clasped behind and lifting away from the back. It's a very short stance here, it's a walking stance, but I've got good weight through the heels. If you don't want to do that, you can lean into it and just keep pressing through the back heel. Breathing here. Lovely, deep breath in, soften the back knee off, bring the right foot back in. Left foot forward, just walk forward, pressing down through that back heel. Press and activate. Okay, try not to lock out the knee, but at the same time, even weight through four corners at the back. Push down, activate and firm up that leg as you bend the front knee. If you feel that lordosis coming on in the lower back, that sway back, feel free to exaggerate it if you want to. Lengthen the front of the body, push down through the back heel, lift and lengthen through the top of the head, and draw the shoulders back and down and the clasp away. So lifting the clasp away from the back. Or if you're not a fan of that, hands onto hips or into the hip creases, pop the heart through, lengthen and lean into it, but we're still keeping good weight. Okay, so firming up the back leg, gripping the floor with both feet, pushing down, activating and firming the legs to help build muscle to support the knee joint. Excellent. Take a deep breath in, bring yourself back up, stride back. Lovely. Fantastic. So we've done our forward folds, opening the back. We've done a little bit of back bending, depending on how your lower back is. We've done some striding forward, so opening up just in plane, so just moving without external rotation of the hips. And then finally, we're going to take a side angle stretch. So we're going to come sideways on the mat. You're going to turn the front foot forward, and this time I'm going to bend the knee. And again, if you've got things in the way, this is where you can use things like the chest of drawers that's in front of me here, or indeed the wardrobe that's behind me here. So use whatever furniture you've got around you to help change the pose. So careful now, knee injuries. Okay, this is going to be an external rotation. Careful any SI joint issues. Okay, so we're in a standard Parsvarkanasana or Warrior 2 position. Okay, again, doesn't have to be mega. Roll open the hips and settle. So you can feel the hips opening. Push down through the feet and just move that front knee out so you can see most of the toes. So it's a bit more of an exaggerated flip open. Lovely. Take a deep breath in. Going to stretch up and over and reach for whatever is in front of you. Push down and lift and use that leverage here to open up the pose. So I can use this pressure through the top fingers to really open into the pose. So it changes the dynamic in the waist from the normal pose. Lovely. Similarly, reverse it back. Press the backhand into whatever's behind you and go into the reverse. So use the pressure of pushing up and away so you can open up through this waist at the front whilst pressing against the furniture at the back. Breathing here. If you've got more space than me, then feel free to just enjoy the reverse warrior. So facing sideways rather than facing front. Reverse warrior usually goes backwards to the front. This is backwards to the side, opening up the hip. And then obviously your Parsvarkanasana. If you want to slip in a cheeky Trikonasana, then obviously going down to the floor or thereabouts. Push down, lift the hips, and then straighten the front leg. So different cueing here. So from the bent leg position, fingertips to the floor inside the foot, lift the hips, straighten the front leg and stretch away. Okay, so I want that pull up of the hips to exaggerate the stretch through the front leg. Reverse it, so we're going to change over. Back foot near the back, front foot at the front, not too wide, opening the hips, settling here if this is enough. Just check you can see most of the toes this side. Deep breath in, stretching up, up and over, resting on the thigh. I'm going to take the fingers here to the chest of drawers, push in and use that to really open up the twist through the thorax, the spine. Breathing here. Good even weight through both legs and feet, gripping the floor with my feet, drawing the feet together lightly, but firming up the legs maybe and pushing the floor away. Deep breath in, cycle it back, push behind you and stretch up, up and open. So my top arm is just flipping up and over, stretching away. Also pushing away then against the wall behind, or the wardrobes behind, to open up here a little bit more. Lovely. If you're taking your optional Trikonasana, cycle back down to the floor with the bent knee, stretch the top arm up, lift the hips as you straighten the front leg. And keep lifting and firming and opening. Lovely. Soften it off and bring it back up. Lovely. Step your back foot back to the back of the mat and then carefully kneeling yourself down to the floor. So back to our kneeling position. If you prefer not to kneel, then the option here, or you just want to mix it up a little bit, then feel free to change the foot position into seated position. So simple cross-legged or a nice easy Sukhasana here. Lovely. So I'm then resting against the wardrobes behind, pushing the knees away to just open up the hip flexors and the thighs a little bit more. Breathing here. So whilst it feels like sort of a bit of a cop-out to sit in these seated positions, sometimes just not pushing the lower back into the wardrobe here, but really sort of focusing on really drawing the shoulders into the wardrobe and sitting up nice and tall, tucking the chin in, breathing here. So, and this can be quite a comfortable position to be in when you're nicely propped, spine nice and level, and breathing. When you feel that the hips have started to release, and hopefully those side angles will have helped that, swap the legs over, firm up again, just make sure you're comfortable, draw the shoulders back and down, sitting up, tucking the chin in, pushing the knees gently away. And that, for your daily practice, should be just right. Whatever space you've got, whatever time you've got, you can adapt it to suit. If it's just 5 minutes, just do the first 5 minutes. If you just want to open up your hips, just do the side angle stretches. Just take care if you're not warm, and take care to shorten stances, shorten poses, truncate expression in poses if you're not warmed up. Thank you everybody. Have a wonderful weekend and namaste. Yoga every day. See you on the mat tomorrow.